12 things to check out before you buy an investment property. All right, guys, we're gonna talk about these 12 things you've gotta check out before you buy an investment property. When you're getting started in real estate, it can be a little bit overwhelming and stressful. And I wanna help you make sure you don't make a mistake that can be very costly and very expensive. And the way that you can do that is following a checklist and making sure you check everything off before you take that leap. So there's some really critical things that we've gotta be aware of that I wanna make sure we talk about here. And I wouldn't say these are in any priority level. These are all things I think you need to just write down and check them off when you're looking at an investment property. The first one I like to look at is crime reports. You've got to really understand the area and understand what's happening with the crime in the area. Now, there's crime in all areas. The question you're looking for is what types of crimes they are. Are they violent crimes? Are they petty crimes? Are they repetitive? Do they happen frequently? Those are the types of things you need to look at, because if your property's going to get broken into when it's vacant, if your tenants are going to have things vandalized or taken, if you're going to have things stolen from the property, that's concerning. So you want to be very careful with that and making sure you understand the area you're investing in. A lot of new investors will find a property that's in a rough neighborhood and they'll justify how well it's going to rent and how much cash flow they're going to be making, but they don't look at how much the expense is going to be when they deal with the crime and the things that may happen to that. So they overlook this. It's something you can really easily do. There's a couple of websites that can help you with this, or you can make a phone call to your police department, your police precinct, and they'll be more than happy in most cases to talk to you as well. So that's number one. Number two is ARV, which stands for after repaired value. Whether you're renting this, whether you're flipping this, whether you're wholesaling this, it doesn't really matter. You still need to know what is the after repaired value of this property, meaning once this property is fixed up, how much am I going to be able to sell this for? And I want to know that even if I'm not planning on fixing up the property, because if I run into a problem, I want to have multiple exit strategies. My plan may be to rent, but that may not go well, so I may want to fix it up and sell the property. So I want to make sure I'm getting a good investment, that I have an exit strategy multiple different ways, and one of those is understanding the after repaired value of this property before I actually get into it. The third thing I want to talk about here is the as is value, and this basically tells me, am I getting a good deal? What is this property worth the way it sits right now? And how does that compare to what I'm buying it for? So I want to be looking at comparables to make a determination if I'm getting a good deal on the property. That will help me understand if I can wholesale this property. It'll also help me understand how good of a deal I'm actually getting, which is really important because I want to be buying a good deal and I want to be able to sell on a good deal as well, whether that's as is or after repaired or fixed up. Number four gets us into the rental strategy. What are rents going for in the area and how much am I getting rents for? You see, I like to deal with properties not going in and saying, I definitely want to flip it, I definitely want to rent it, I definitely want to wholesale. I like to do what makes the most sense for the property, and some properties are fantastic rental properties, other ones aren't. Some properties are great for fix and flips, other ones would be better wholesaling. So I like to look at all three of these, the ARV, the as is, the rents in the area, and then make a determination. After I've analyzed all three of these, then I can say, you know, it looks like I'll make the most amount of money going this direction, or this might be the best thing for my situation. So I look at those, and so I've got to understand the rents that are in the area. Number five goes into the cost of repairs. This is overlooked quite frequently. I see people underestimating how much the repairs are going to cost, and they cost more than they're thinking. So you want to upfront understand how much the repairs are going to be, and you want to make sure you have at least two contractors that you feel like are competent, where you've got full pricing. And I'm not talking about a price on the back of a napkin. I'm talking about a price that's broken down line item by line item, so you know exactly what it's going to cost you, and you don't deal with cost overruns where they say that wasn't included when you thought it should have been included. That's the worst thing possible. So you want to make sure you really thoroughly understand the cost of the contractor's repairs. Number six is a full property inspection. I would recommend, if you're just getting started, to actually hire a property inspector. And if you do that, make sure sure you show up for the last hour and have the property inspector take you around the property and show you where the water shutoff is, show you where the electrical boxes are, show you so you get an idea how properties actually work. It can be very helpful. Now, if you're more experienced, you can just have your general contractor do this for you. But I found a lot of people that are general contractors and investors overlook a few things. If you are a contractor, make sure you get a checklist together. You check the roof, you check the foundation, you check the systems, the HVAC, the electrical, do your main system checks. That's really the most expensive thing, is the roofs, the foundations, the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing. If you're dealing with a system problem, that's where it gets really expensive. Everything else, carpet, paint, and making it look nice. So that's the next thing. Number 7, and this is overlooked as well, and this is city violations. You see, if the property has had some permits pulled and they weren't finished, there's going to be some outstanding permits or things that need to be taken care of. That may be okay, but the city may want a lot more done to the property than you may be anticipating, which could increase the cost. So a very quick call to the city to talk to their building department to see if there's any open violations or open building permits on the property can save you a ton of hassle and a ton of headache. Number 8 is the title report. And the title report comes from the title company to make sure you have full and clear title on the property. What you want to make sure is there aren't additional exclusions. Any exclusion is not going to be covered by your title policy. So you want to check that out and make sure there aren't any additional exclusions that aren't standard exclusions that come with most properties. Number 9, property taxes. Do you want to know how much of the rent is going to go to the tax man? Or you want to know, however long you hold the property, how much you're going to be paying in taxes. That can add up quick and it'll take a chunk of your profit when you're doing a fix and flip, or it can make a good deal turn into a bad deal as a rental property if the property taxes are too much. My rule of thumb, I don't like the tax man to take more than 1 month's rent away from me in taxes. And we're not talking about income taxes, we're talking about property taxes. That's the next thing that I think you need to check out is property tax. Number 10 is your financing strategy. How are you gonna get the money and what is that money going to cost you? You maybe think you're renting the property, but if you're not in a situation to get a good rental loan, you may have to move that to a fix and flip. So understanding your financing strategy and how you're gonna get the money, which I would say your financing strategy is really where you need to start. Understanding your finance strategy before you even go and look at properties or try and find properties, find your lender who's gonna be working with you. Early on in my career, I went and found properties before I had lenders. It was a disaster because I spent time, money, and expense, and the lender said, I'm not interested in that. And so finally I clued in and said, what are you interested in? I'll go find those types of properties so that we can do some deals. That changed my strategy and changed the trajectory for me. And I'd highly recommend you do the same thing. Number 11 is a cash flow analysis versus a fix and flip analysis. Now that we've got all this information, we can actually put a full analysis together to make a determination as to which strategy we want to move forward on. And finally, number 12 is property management. How are we planning on managing this property if this is the direction we want to go? And even if I'm planning on doing a different strategy, knowing and understanding who the property manager is can make a really big difference for us in making sure that we have exit strategies. It's kind of like when you get on the airplane and they say locate the nearest exit. There may be one in front of you, one behind you. I want to have multiple exit strategies when I'm dealing with a piece of real estate as well. If the strategy I'm thinking I'm going to do doesn't end up working out, I have other strategies to make that happen. In doing all of this, you're going to need to negotiate on properties and sales prices. I've put together a video to show you exactly how the right types of properties to find, finding a seller's true motivation, and one of my secret weapon phrases that works for me almost every time. So check out the video here, how to negotiate the property sales price. I'll put it on the screen. Take a look at that, click on it now, and make it a profitable day.